So one of the big questions I get asked all the time when it comes to action cameras is which action camera should I buy, which one is better, and how do I get amazing image quality, and what's the best settings, and so on. And for many of these questions, it's hard for me to say which camera is better for you, because at the end it all comes down to what you want and need in a travel or vlog camera or motorcycle camera, whatever you need an action camera for. But what I can do is to give you my honest opinion and the pros and cons that I've experienced over the time of using these action cameras. So in today's video, I want to talk about all of them basically, but I also mainly want to talk about the X4 and the pros and cons of this 360 camera, and you might be surprised with what I've learned so far. Now, first, let's just get straight into the image quality. This is what makes or breaks your decision of getting a 360 camera, I would say, because you might have seen a lot of 360 videos that doesn't look good at all, and you might have seen some that looks outstanding. So the first thing you need to know about a 360 camera or 360 videos in general is that they're not regular action camera videos. Even though it has this single lens mode, which basically turns it into a regular action camera where it only uses one of these lenses here. You can decide between the front one and the back one here. Though the main reason or the main function, I would say, is the 360 videos, where the camera takes full advantage of both these lenses and then stitches the footage together, and then allows us consumers to freely move around and decide what type of angle and direction we want to see. And of course, in some situations, the footage might look better or worse because of the different lighting conditions that you might experience throughout your shoot. Maybe there's some fingerprints on the lens itself, or maybe the footage gets too zoomed in when the video is edited later in post. But when it comes to the image quality itself, there has been a huge improvement over the past few years, especially if you go from the X2 here and over to the X4. The X3 to the X4 is less noticeable, I would say, in some scenarios, but with the improved battery life, the resolution and heat dissipation of the X4, it's a solid upgrade over the X3 in my opinion. Basically, ever since I got the X4 here, I haven't really touched the X3 because the X4 is a fantastic upgrade in my opinion. But back to the image quality here, and even if it has been some time since the X4 was released, I keep on getting questions about the image not looking good and what the best settings are, and basically how to get better image quality with the X4. And this is where I think a lot of people kinda overthink it and overdo it. You know, a lot of people watch all these best settings, ultimate settings guides. This is how you get the best image quality on the X4 and so on. And I'm not gonna lie, I've made some of those videos as well. But in those videos, I also say that the settings you should use is the default settings straight out of the camera. There's no right and wrong here. As long as the camera is set to default and you have the highest bitrate, your image quality is gonna look good. Another tip here is also, if you're shooting in bright conditions and you want a properly exposed image, is that you lower the exposure value by 1 or 2 stops, which will also prevent the sky from being blown out. But I do have a very in-depth video on this topic, which I will leave down below, and I strongly recommend checking that out if you feel like your image quality is a bit off or could be improved. So make sure to check out that video down below. Now, when it comes to user experience and my personal experience over the past 3-4 years now of continuous use on every single trip and every single vacation and every single motorcycle ride, how has my experience been with 360 camera, and what's the pros and cons by using a 360 camera in general? Let's talk about the cons first. So one of the cons with a 360 camera is how exposed the lenses are. As you can see on these cameras, the lenses are sticking out, and that makes it a lot easier to damage these compared to a regular action camera like the Ace Pro 2 here, which has this removable lens cap. So if you damage it, you can just take it off and buy a new one and replace it. You cannot do that with the X3 or the X4 or a 360 camera. And this means that you might be a little bit more careful when it comes to using a 360 camera in certain scenarios, like on a motorcycle, climbing, skateboarding, mountain biking, and so on, basically in scenarios that might damage the lenses here. However, this has become much easier, especially with the X4, because we have these premium lens guards, which I highly recommend using for those types of activities. And if you want to check it out, I also made a durability test with these lens guards to show you how much they can actually take. So the premium lens guards versus the standard included ones. So make sure to check out that video down down in the description if you're curious to know how durable these actually are. But again, these guards will definitely save you from buying a new camera or having to send it back to Insta360 for repair. And for my use personally, these are the ones that I use when I ride my motorcycle. And just an example here, right before the end of the season, I hit this massive hole in the road and the X4 just fell off, smashed into the ground. And if it wasn't for the premium lens guards, I wouldn't be sitting here using the exact same 360 camera right now. So it's a pretty small price to pay for additional safety, I would say. Now, the other cons I've experienced over all these years is also related to battery, and that all specifically goes for the X3, which I've had quite a few hiccups with here and there, and sometimes it just stopped working, it stopped recording, and it just froze. So I had to take out the battery, put it back in again and try again, and if that failed, if it just stopped recording, for example, I had to format the SD card, and in worst case just factory reset the camera. And this has happened a few times over the past 2 or 3 years that I've been using this camera. Though I never experienced any shortage of battery life when the X3 was working properly, and I was getting about 90 minutes of recording before I had to change the battery, which is pretty cool. So it's not a bad camera, it's just that I've experienced more cons with the X3 compared to the X4. So with the X4, the only issue I've had with battery so far and the record limits was in the Maldives, which was, by the way, extremely hot, so I can understand why it shuts itself off. But it was sitting in direct sunlight with almost no airflow, and it was sitting on a tripod and recording 8K 30 FPS, and I was getting about 18 minutes, which is pretty low. But as soon as I took it out for a ride on the bicycle or went for a walk, I was able to record for at least 1 hour in 8K 30 FPS, which is pretty cool. So basically, as soon as you have some sort of airflow coming through these cameras, the chances of overheating is pretty slim. So that's actually the only cons that I have after using it for all these years, and why I prefer to use the X4 all the time, because I don't really see these issues that a lot of people are complaining about. And if you feel like the camera is fragile, just get a pair of premium lens guards or start with the included standard ones. But definitely get the premium lens guards if you feel like you're gonna crack it, because it will save you if you drop it. But for a normal walk on the beach or any type of walks, open hikes, vlogs or stuff like that, I would actually suggest skipping the lens guards, because at the end it is an additional layer of glass or plastic sitting in front of the lens, which will make the quality a bit worse, and that's just how it is. Now, let's talk about the pros. In my opinion, the X4 has amazing image quality, and you might not agree, but I think it looks outstanding, and is also one of the reasons I keep on using it everywhere. In the Maldives, in Hawaii, on my motorcycle, again in Hawaii, above and below water, also in Cyprus with the family. It's just an amazing camera with amazing image quality. After all, it is a 360 camera, and it won't be the same high quality as the Ace Pro 2, for example, which has also 8K resolution up to 30 FPS and also a 4K up to 120 FPS. So it's two different cameras, and it's not going to be as good as the Ace Pro 2. But the versatility and ease of use with one button, and it records everything. I mean, I don't think I can ever go back to just using a regular action camera when I'm out traveling. I honestly think that would get boring, so especially when coming back home and see that maybe I missed the shot or I wish I framed that differently. But with a 360 camera, it doesn't really matter. I can change and reframe the footage as many times as I want, whenever I want, which is fantastic, and also the reason I think everyone should get a 360 camera, or at least try it before they judge it. I was also on the fence of getting a 360 camera in the first place because I didn't think the footage looked that great, and that was, I think it was the X2, or maybe it was the release of the X3. But the thing is, once I got it, my opinion changed instantly. I cared less about the image quality and more about the versatility and ease of use of a 360 camera, which is why I can't stop recommending a 360 camera. The travel experience you will have, especially when you look back at the footage, is going to be completely different compared to looking at some straightforward footage coming from any of these action cameras. So if you haven't tried a 360 camera, just just try it. If you don't like it, send it back, but I guarantee you, you will have a much better travel experience because it's much more versatile. Now, another thing which makes traveling with the Insta360X for a whole lot easier and more convenient now is the Insta360 Plus or the Insta360 Cloud. Basically a cloud service that allows you to sync your footage to the cloud, which means that you can delete them from your SD card, but still be able to edit and share the videos directly from the cloud itself. So the way that this works is if we take a look at the camera here now, we can swipe down from the top and then to the left, and you will be able to see the Insta360 Plus here. And here it says that 0 files to sync because I've already synced all my files now. But once I do a record, this will say 1 file or 2 files depending on how many records I do, and then I can easily just tap sync and these will be automatically synced to the cloud. And you also have this sync settings here, so you can go in and you can choose auto sync. So whenever you have recorded some files, whenever the camera is connected to Wi-Fi, it will automatically sync the files to the cloud here. And you can also go through different options here. Auto delete, for example. So once the sync is complete, the camera will automatically delete that file on the SD card, leaving you with more space on your SD card for the next time you go out to shoot some videos. So if we go over to the iPhone now and over to the Insta360 app here and just over to album, now I can select the one on the top here which says all, and I can select Insta360 Cloud. This is all the 54 files that I synced recently. So what we can do now is to go into, let's take this for example, and I can now edit this video directly from the cloud. And look at that, my camera is not even on here, so this is turned off. And I can make keyframes if I want to do that, just rotate exactly how I want. And this is amazing. So now I made a couple of keyframes here, and if we play that back, it should turn from keyframe to keyframe. And yeah, it's pretty fast actually, no issues, no lag. And if I want to export something, let's say I can just trim this clip right here and put a marker there and trim this one. So now we have 16 seconds. That I can go over to share now. And here we see that we have the option, so we can either share this or save this to our phone, and we can go in and change the different settings here. And we can also tap on share 360 video. So when we tap on share 360 video, you can either do this to WhatsApp, you can do a direct link copy, Messenger. Take this link right here, and I'm gonna save that. And I'm gonna send that over to my wife. Let me go and grab her phone so you can see. All right, got it. So if we go into the messages here, you can see that this is the recent file that I just sent from my phone here. And what she can do now, no matter where she is in the world, she will get this message and can just tap on it, and you will open a new web browser. And the good thing about this is that you don't need to have the Insta360 app. You can go in, you can stop the video, and you can also freely move around exactly how you want. So instead of exporting different clips and send those clips over to friends and family, for example, when you're on a trip, you can just send the direct link directly from the cloud. And you can also go in and you can change Mega View, Ultra Wide, D-Warp, Tiny Planet, and Crystal Ball. So if I just want something quick and easy here now, go for Tiny Planet, and there you can see it looks pretty cool. And another good thing here is that if you just want to share a small portion of the clip, the trimmed clip is actually the one being shared, so not the entire clip. So I trimmed a few of these clips from our trip to Hawaii last year, which is in the description below, which you can go and click on. Check it out, check how the Insta360 Cloud performs in real life. So make sure to check the links down below. Now, when it comes to regular action cameras like the GoPro Hero 13 here, the Action 5 Pro, and the Ace Pro here, there is a huge difference in what you're able to capture versus how much effort you want to put into it, or how much thinking you would need to do is probably the better word for it. So with all these action cameras here, the Action 5 Pro, the Ace Pro 2, and the GoPro Hero 13, you have to aim it at what you want to film. So if you want to film a sunset, aim it at the sunset. If you want to film yourself, yourself, aim it at yourself, and let's say you're out on a hike and you want to capture everything. You need to constantly move the camera around in order to capture everything you want to capture. So first the scenery, then yourself, maybe the scenery again, maybe yourself again, maybe the party, maybe you want to get some creative shots as well, and trust me, this will take some time. So maybe your framing was off, for example, and you see that some of your shots were very close, so you have to redo everything and extend the selfie stick, and everyone is just gonna look mad at you because you spent too much time trying to get the shot instead of actually enjoying the hike or the vacation you're on. And I'm just talking from experience here, especially if you have smaller kids or even teenager. So you might enjoy changing things around, spending hours on your camera, testing new things and angles, and get the perfect shot. But your kids, they might not be very happy with that, is spending 2 hours on a 30-minute hike just because someone said that, you know, this has the best image quality. So what I mean is that the X4 might not have the best image quality out of all of these cameras here, but does it really matter? And wouldn't it be better to capture everything at once and then go back later and check the footage and reframe exactly how you want without any limits? I've also made a lot of comparison videos between these action cameras here, and also a dedicated travel video on the X4 and the X3, which I highly recommend that you check out if you're on the fence of getting a 360 camera, because those videos will help you decide between which action camera and which 360 camera you should go for. But to me, I mean, just having that invisible selfie stick and the option to upload everything to the cloud service has made things so much easier, and the fact that I can edit those clips right off the cloud is just amazing. It saves me so much time. I don't have to connect it to the camera every single time I want to edit. I don't have to download anything. It's just amazing. So if you want to know how it is to travel with the X4 or how to get the best shots on a motorcycle, including again the best settings, auto settings, make sure to check out the videos down in the description below. And on your way down there, do me a favor and just hit that subscribe and like button. I would really appreciate that. And also, if you're already out in the field and you see this video, maybe you're already on a vacation, and if you just want a helping hand, I also have my dedicated cheat sheets for the X3 and the X4, which you can check down below. And also, let me know your thoughts and experiences about a 360 camera when it comes to traveling or riding a motorcycle, good or bad. Let me know in the comments below. So thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye bye.